So last time I was thinking, and I've always hear people, especially white European people, right, complain about immigration and that people should enter the country the correct way. So I was actually wondering, right, and I was like, let's see how difficult it was for white people to enter the country of America, right? I mean, just curiosity, right? So let's see how difficult it was for white European immigrants to enter the country. Let's see how difficult it was for them.
The United States Naturalization Act of 1795 repealed and replaced the Naturalization Act of 1790. The main change made by the 1795 Act from the 1790 Act was the increase in the period of required residence in the United States before an alien can be naturalized from 2 to 5 years. The Act also omitted the term natural born in the characterization of children born outside the U.S. to U.S. citizen parents. The Act repeated the limitation in the 1790 Act that naturalization was reserved only for free white person S. It also changed the requirement in the 1790 Act of good character to read good moral character. PRE 1795. Before 1795, naturalization law was governed primarily by the Naturalization Act of 1790. Provisions. The 1795 Act continued the 1790 Act limitation of naturalization being available only to free white person S. The main change was the increase in the period of required residence in the United States before an alien can be naturalized from 2 to 5 years, and the introduction of the Declaration of Intention requirement, or first papers, which required to be filed at least 3 years before the formal application, creating a two-step naturalization process. Aliens intending to naturalize had to go to their local court and declare their intention to do so at least 3 years before their formal application. In the declaration, the applicant would also indicate his understanding that upon naturalization he would take an oath not only of allegiance to the United States but also of renunciation of his former sovereign. In addition to the Declaration of Intention and Oath of Renunciation, the 1795 Act required all naturalized persons to be attached to the principles of the Constitution of the United States, and be well disposed to the good order and happiness of the same. The Act removed the characterization of children born outside the U.S. to U.S. citizen parents as natural-born citizens, providing instead that such children shall be considered as citizens of the United States. POST 1795. The 1795 Act was superseded by the Naturalization Act of 1798, which extended the residency requirement to 14 years and notice period to 5 years. The 1798 Act was repealed by the Naturalization Law of 1802, which restored the residency and notice requirements of the 1795 Act.
People saying, oh, we should go back to immigration back the way it was on Ellis Island when people came in here legally. But I'm always curious if they know what the immigration laws were in 1892, and if they're actually making the point that they think that they're making. Ellis Island opened up because in 1892, for the first time ever, the federal government took over overseeing immigrants coming into the country. So because of that, they needed a centralized federal immigrant processing center. They found the busiest port in the U.S., the Port of New York and the Port of New Jersey, and Ellis Island opened. Now, of course, there were restrictions on who could enter, but the restrictions were actually a lot more lenient than they were today. Here are the restrictions in the words of 1892. All idiots, insane persons, paupers, or persons likely to become a public charge, persons suffering from a loathsome or dangerous contagious disease, persons who have been convicted of a felony or other infamous crimes or misdemeanors involving moral turpitude, and polygamists. These are the stairs of separation. It separated those who were allowed entry to the country to those who were sent to the detention halls. I'm in the center staircase. That means I'm on my way to the detention halls, potentially to get sent home. I'm curious, of the 12 million immigrants who were processed here, what percentage do you think was sent back home? Would you believe me if I said that of those 12 million immigrants, just 2% were sent back home? Imagine today, if of all the immigrants across the globe that wanted to enter the United States, only 2% were denied.
Yeah, so, in other words, pretty much be white, and you got the privilege, in other words. You know, I've noticed that, you people are fucking evil, man. You guys bring nothing but hate and racism. That's all you people brought to this continent. And it only makes sense, right, to not allow Mexicans. I mean, technically, you guys did steal their land, right? So, it only makes sense to not allow them to enter the land that you people stole from them, right? But yeah, man, I guess it is difficult for you guys to enter the country. It's really difficult. Fucking Miami.